Let's vibe, let's roll, let's get it. Whoa, shawty showing out, throwing on the dance floor. Fashion killer, huh? You don't give a fuck what a nigga gotta say or a bitch.
Hey guys, it's Naimahrae. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button to join the fam because we stay litty over here and we're on the road to 800 subscribers by the end of this year. You know what I'm saying? So if you like my content or if you just like story times in general, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I have plenty of story times on my channel. I have more to come. I have a playlist and I will link it. And yeah, as you guys can tell by the title of this video, I'm gonna be telling a story time about all the ridiculous customers that I encountered last year. Maybe not all of them, but just a few that stood out to me, okay? I think I want to make this a little mini series as well because, guys, the things that retail workers deal with is insane. People are different. That's all I'm gonna say. People are different. Anyways, I don't know how long this video is gonna get. I'm gonna try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first story number one. We're gonna call it staff discount, okay? Just so it's broken up into different sections. One evening, I'm working with my coworker who we're gonna call Nicole. And me and Nicole were getting ready to pretty much close the store. Like, we were probably like an hour, maybe an hour and a half out from closing. But you know, we're just prepping to get ready to wrap things up for the day. We've been there for 8 hours. We're tired. We're ready to go. This couple walks in. We're gonna call them Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Okay, so Tweedledee and Tweedledum walk in and they're looking around, shopping around. You know, of course, we're like, if you guys have any questions or whatever, just let one of us know. So they pick up an item. Okay, they pick up an item and they're like, oh, how much is it? We tell them how much it is. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Any discounts? And we're like, no. I think at this time we had just got off of a sale. Like, I'm pretty positive we did. Because it seems like any time that we had a sale, somebody comes in the day after or like a couple days later or a week later talking about, oh, is the sale still happening? No, it's not. Let this be a reminder, okay? If it's on sale today, that don't mean that it's gonna be on sale tomorrow. I need you to look at the fine print on them emails that people be sending you or whatever the case may be on the little poster and see what day it ends. Because when you come in the next day asking for a sale, you wanna know what we're gonna do? We're gonna look at you like, that was yesterday. Oh, you can't honor it today? No, because it ended yesterday. What do you guys take us for? Idiots? Y'all trying to get us fired? We can't just give stuff away. Do you think, honestly, truly, that if we could just give a discount whenever we felt like it, we could do that? Anyways, they asked about it, and we're like, no, like, it's not on sale, whatever. So they look around probably for like another 20-ish minutes. And finally, they decide on getting this item. They're like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and take it and blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, well, is there any like discount on it? And so Nicole's like, no, there's no discount on it. Like, we already had the conversation, sir. Like, come on now, Tweedledum. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, so what about the tax? So I look and Nicole looks and she's like, you want to know the price with the tax? Because, like, we didn't really understand what he was trying to say. Like, what do you mean? What about the tax? Like, I can't take off the tax, sir. Like, that's not how it works. So she scanned in and tells him the price with the tax. And he's like, oh, like, that's more than what you told me. And she's like, well, yeah, it's the tax. But, like, I can't take the tax off. Like, that's just not an option. And he's like, so you can't do no tax? No, sir, this is not one of those states. I know there are states out there that don't have sales tax, which I recently learned because I shipped something to somebody and their tax didn't come out. I was like, oh, period. But in the state that I live in Georgia, there's a tax and you're going to pay it, sir. He is going on and on about like, oh, is there a way that you can like make a discount so it just takes the tax off? This is why his name is Tweedledum, y'all. This is exactly why. Did you hear what I just said? He wanted us to make a discount to take the tax off. Sir, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna get it. If you're not, you're not. Like, just leave it. It's fine. We're not gonna sit here and beg you to buy this item. Like, it is what it is. I will say though, I will let y'all know this. Where I work at, the tax is high. It's a little on the high, not even a little on the high side. It is high. Not California high, but it's high. So, I mean, you know, but at the same time, like, so Nicole's like, no, sir, I can't do that. Like, the item is so-and-so. Like, pretty much either you're going to get it or you're not. But I can't add a discount to it. Y'all know the next thing that comes out of this man's mouth? Flabbergasted me. Flabbergasted me, y'all. He said, I just can't believe that there's people out here that really said, y'all, he said, oh, can I just use your staff discount? It took every single thing in my being, right, to not call that man out. Cause when he said that, I was standing there and I was filling out some clothes and stuff, right? And when he said that, I stopped and I looked up at him, and I'm pretty sure this was my face. Cause then I looked at Nicole, and Nicole looked at me, and she was like, she was like, no, because I don't want to lose my job. You wanted to use the employee discount. Sir, if you want to use the employee discount, why don't you put in an application and apply? Like, I have no other words for this story time. I have no other words. Please let me know in the comments down below if y'all have ever had anything like that happen, because that was the first for me. And me and Nicole looked at each other after, and we were just so confused, because I was like, I know he did not. The audacity of Tweedledum to even put his mouth to say those words was just astonishing to me. Can I use your staff discount? Sir, I don't know you from Adam. No! That's all for that story. They did end up purchasing the item at the price that it was at. Like, at the price that it was at, tax and all. That was the ridiculous customer story number 1. You know I had to start off strong, because that was a hot mess, y'all. A hot mess. So number 2 is this lady. Y'all, okay, look. It's not funny. I'm sorry. So she comes in. We're going to call her sickly, because that's what she looked. She looked sick, okay? She looked like she had been going through it. She looked like she needed to be at home, in the bed. She looked like she needed to have a mask on. She looked like she needed to be in a hazmat suit. Like, she looked like she was sick. She did not need to be in the store. So she's like, oh, like, I'm here. I have to make a return. I'm like, okay, like, that's cool, great. And of course, once again, it's me and Nicole. I feel like things only happen to me and Nicole. Nicole's like, oh, do you have your receipt? So we're scanning the receipt, getting everything situated. And guys, at this time, I'm just gonna be honest, we are peak holiday season and we don't have any cash. Like, we haven't gotten our change order from the people. So rewind, pause for a second. For people who don't work in retail, we keep a certain amount of money in our store, obviously, and a certain amount of money in our registers. At the time that I'm referring to, I think the people who bring us our change, like, so we can have cash and stuff in our store, they were like switching schedules or running behind or something. I don't really remember, but they hadn't brought our change in like a couple of weeks. So we were running like low to no. It was almost to the point where we were about to start telling people like, hey, like, we cannot take cash because we just did not have any change. Like, we had enough like in our registers and everything, but we didn't have like any like broken up bills, like, if that makes any sense. We scanned the receipt or whatever, and so we're about to do the return, and we noticed that she paid partly in cash. Now, the problem came because we didn't have any change, like I just explained. So I told the lady, like, Nicole's looking like, oh, like, ma'am, like, did you pay in cash? She's like, yeah, I did. I paid partially in cash or blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, well, unfortunately right now we don't have enough change in this register to give you your money back. And look, I know what y'all saying, like, it sounds crazy, like, oh my gosh, like, I would be upset too, blah, 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 because the lady started getting upset, which I get it. Like, you came to make a return, you think it was gonna be a nice, simple return situation. The lady was like, well, I don't understand, I just want to get my money back and blah, blah, blah. And we was explaining to her how we didn't have any change, and like, the people who drop off our money, they just haven't brought it to us. So she was not trying to hear anything we were saying, and she was starting to get a little frustrated as you could get when you're sickly looking like that, because she looked like she was sick. She was like, well, I've been sick and I just haven't had time to come in and return this item, and I'm just like, girl, okay, you still look sick, okay? I'm so sorry. I'm happy that you're feeling better enough that you can come outside the house, but you still don't look like you need to be outside the house, you know what I'm saying? And so I look at her and I'm like, well, ma'am, you know, there are a couple options that we have. I was like, one, do you live far from here? Well, yes, I do, blah, 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 blah. Lies, because her address definitely popped up. She lived right around the corner. And I was like, okay, like, you know, well, what we can do for you is like, you know, if you want to give us your address, when we get the cash, we refund it and we'll just send the cash to you. I don't even know if we're supposed to do that, but like, I'm a manager. I'm thinking quick on my feet. I'm just trying to figure out like a quick, fast solution. I told her the other solution was we could have corporate send her a check. It'll get to you in like 3-6 weeks. Ma'am, I don't know what to tell you. And she's like, well, this is ridiculous. What place doesn't have cash? Blah, 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 blah. Ma'am, it is 2024. At the time, it's 2023. But ma'am, it is 2024. A lot of places don't have cash. A lot of places do not do cash. A lot of places are cashless. This is not the 1990s. This is not the early 2000s. A lot of people just use their card. And quite frankly, she wouldn't have had that problem if she would have just used her entire card to pay for the thing in the first place. She over here trying to split payment. This is your problem, ma'am. This is your problem. So then she's just like really not budging on any of the solutions that I came up with. And I was like, well, there's one other thing that we can try. I looked at Nicole. I was like, we can go to another store and ask them if they could give us change. And the lady was like, well, how long is that going to take? I was like, ma'am, I don't know. It depends on if we can even get change from another store. So lo and behold, luckily the store that was right next to us, they were able to give us some change or whatever. They was giving us a hard time about it, but whatever. We ended up getting change, giving that lady her money. But my thing is, like, y'all, I get it. I understand why she was frustrated, but you wouldn't have had these problems if you wouldn't have paid with cash in the first place. And maybe that's the Gen Z in me. Maybe that's just the Gen Z in me. But y'all, let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic. It wasn't that deep. And we gave her plenty of solutions. And she was just being complicated. Anyways, moving on to story number 3. Okay, so this is the last story for this video. I was going to make this as a whole separate story time, but I feel like I can kind of condense it down a little bit. Hopefully. Anyways, scam lady. That's what we're going to call this one. So this was peak holiday season, y'all. I mean, peak holiday season. The scammers is out. I'm in Atlanta, okay? You know. If anybody who knows anything about Atlanta, home of the scammers, this girl walked in with a really cute dog. She had a really cute dog with her, okay? We're going to call her Lily, okay? She walks in with her dog, and I was doing something else, but I'm aware, paying attention. So I'm doing something else with somebody else, you know, we working on whatever we're working on. And I see like Lily talking to one of my coworkers, and she's like, yeah, like I'm looking for gifts or blah, 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 blah. And so next thing I know, I see one of my coworkers, I'm gonna call her Strawberry. She walks over to the cash wrap and she has boatloads of items in her hands. And she's like, hey, when you guys are done, I need all hands on deck. And I'm like, girl, what is going on? And why do you have like pretty much half of the store in your arms? She just, y'all. I wish I could insert the pictures because I took pictures of this entire instance because it was just so ridiculous. So Lily is just picking up things and like putting them at the cash wrap. And we have backstock, guys. Maybe not on everything, but most things we do. So usually like we tell people, oh, don't take the display, like we got it, because you take the display, then like it messes up the store. So at this point, like the front room of the store is empty. When I tell you empty, I mean like there's like a whole wall that's like cleared out, a whole table that's cleared out. We like all the like a couple trays and stuff is cleared out. It's crazy. So I'm just like, this girl is really gonna get all this. Lily said, this was what she said, y'all. She said, oh, I have 12 aunts and 12 nieces, and I'm just getting Christmas gifts, and some of it's for me, and like, can I get some of the gift wrap? Gift wrap? Girl, absolutely not. I looked at her, I was like, we could probably give you a few boxes, but you're not taking all of our supplies, cause gift wrapped? Are you serious right now? It got so bad to the point that at this point we were probably like an hour out from closing, but we had to close the door early because we couldn't help other people because she just kept pulling so much stuff, and we were all trying to like help like scan it and ring it out and blah, blah, blah. And I know what y'all thinking, like, oh my gosh, Naimah, like, how did you not know this was a scam? Look, okay, in my time in working at the store, I have learned that some people come in and they be dressed looking kind of rough and everything, and they be the people that will drop like a lot of money. Like, it's always those that you got to watch out for. I'm trying to tell you guys, if you think a celebrity or an influencer is going to walk into a store and purchase something and all designer drip down to the socks, that is not the case. That's never the case usually. They're usually always just chilling in sweatpants and an oversized t-shirt, which is what Lily had on with her dog. We ended up having to close the doors, and, you know, we were apologizing to customers saying, like, we're sorry, like, we can't help you right now because we're busy. So at some point, it ends up just being, like, was it a total of 4 of us there? Yes, I think it was a total of 4 of us there, and we're all just like trying to like get through the transaction and get things done for Lily so we could get her on her merry way, right? And so we had a system. Somebody was scanning, somebody was packaging, somebody was looking for stuff, and that was in back stock, so we didn't have to take the displays, because at this point the store is like literally destroyed. I ended up having to send a message to the district manager telling her like, hey, look, we closed the door early because we have a really big transaction. Guys, it comes down to payment time. And this is when things started getting a little crazier than they already were. Okay, I had a sweater on, and I kept telling all my coworkers that I was hot. Okay, and I was telling them I was hot in the store, and I'm sure they meant what I was saying, because I was like, it's hot in here, as in like something is not right, because that's what it was feeling like. I was sweating, guys. So it was something was not right. Coworker Nicole, because once again I told y'all things always happen to be in Nicole. She's like, okay, ma'am, your total is $18,900 and blah, 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 blah dollars, right? That was her total. It was $18,000, y'all. $18,000. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be paid in cash. You're going to be paid in cash? Oh, my gosh. So at this point, I'm texting my store manager. I'm like, girl, like, I need to find me another job, because this girl, she just said she going to pay in cash. Like, this is getting real. This is getting real in the field. And my store manager's like, oh, my gosh, like, what does she look like? So, I'm keeping her up to date. Like, oh, my gosh, like, this is just crazy. So she pays $900 in cash. And we processed it through. And she's like, okay. And Nicole's like, well, there's still a balance of $17,000 something. And she's like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, y'all, at this point, I was already hot, but then I start getting even hotter, because now I'm getting upset. You didn't destroy the store, the entire store at that. And now you talk about some, She was like, oh, well, I have to download my bank app and I could just put the rest on my card. First of all, who doesn't have their bank app already downloaded? Who doesn't? Please let me know. So she sits there, she's trying to get her bank app downloaded or whatever. At this point, I'm starting to get frustrated. I'm texting my store manager about everything that happened. We taking pictures. And honestly, at this point, we're not even trying to hide it. Because something is not right with you, ma'am. Something is not right, okay? You do not hand somebody $900 cash when your balance is $18,000 and be like, oh, when you're surprised that it didn't go all the way through. So, long story short, guys, she gets her bank card stuff situated or whatever, and she inserts the card, decline, inserts the card, decline, inserts the card, decline, and so Strawberry is over at the register at this point, and she's like, well, do you have another method of payment? Like, she was handling it really well, like, better than me, because I would have been like, you got to come back at another time. Speaking of that, I did tell the girl, I was like, look, next time you plan to shop like this, you need to call us in advance so we can close the store for you and have a private little appointment for yourself, because now we missing out on money because you want to play games. I didn't tell her like that, but I did tell her the first half, just without the playing games part. So she's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just have to come back tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. She was like, well, what time do you guys open? So I told her what time we open or whatever. And I was like, none of us are going to be here because none of us were working in the morning. I was like, but she comes in, like, she might be here when you get here. I don't know. We'll let the necessary people know. The girl leaves. Y'all, do you know I had to stay like at least like an extra 30 minutes to an hour to help clean up after she destroyed the entire store? Yeah. I was not a happy camper. I wasn't. And then, to make matters worse, she actually did show up the next day, and my store manager had to deal with her. And we had given my store manager a warning and everything, thank God. She swore up and down that she had already purchased stuff and that she had some stuff on hold. She did not, because even though we took the $900 cash, we ended up giving it back to her, and we had to like post void it out of our system, which was the whole thing because we couldn't figure out how to do it. And we freaked out because we didn't know if we could do it, and we thought we weren't going to be able to close the register. It it was a mess. It was a hot mess. But yeah, she came back the next day and she swore up and down she had gift cards that she was trying to like use. And this is just what my manager told me because I wasn't there. And she said that eventually she ended up just leaving. And she said that the energy the night before was off. Ma'am, it was off. It was off. You want to know why? Because I was walking around the store taking pictures and recording. You're going to jail, okay? Like, don't play with me. And then some of the things that she said did not sit right with my spirit. Because when we closed the door and people were still tugging on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? She was like, right, can't they see you're trying to do your job? Ma'am, what are you implying? Because certain things I feel like you just can't say. And that just, it was giving borderline, like, you're beneath me type situation. I wasn't wrong with that. Anyways, that was pretty much the end of the story. Never saw the girl again. I don't know what happened to her. I to this day, needless to say, she didn't buy the stuff, okay? But she definitely was up to some scamming type stuff. Like, something was not right. Something was not all there. But in my defense, I thought she was like an influencer or something because she just looked like she could have been one. So, there's that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 different story times. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media, which is always in the description box down below. And please let me know in the comments down below if you've ever encountered anything like this at your job, or like just anything crazy has happened at your job. Like, let's share stories because I like to know. I like to read the comments. Like, I be reading the comments, okay? Y'all are entertaining. So yeah. With all that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.
I want a chick that grind on a 9 to 5. Oh, she in them college books trying to get a rise. But tonight, I'm just trying to have a good time.